Coming back to Nvidia again, in this video I'm going to look at something in the more current period. We're going to build an active off of this low at 39.23, and we're going to build an active off of this low at 75.61. We're building upward actives because we're dealing with a bull market, obviously, but whatever you see doing here on the upside, you can do the same thing to the downside. And I'm going to show another technique to come up with some time counts. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to assign the low date here as DO, which would be 10:30:23, and then the first impulse high I'm going to call the ray in time. So I'm just randomly assigning that. So I'm taking the first impulse. That time period is the interval between DO and ray. That ray tone is on 11/20/2023. Now I'm bringing in my active sheet. This sheet is provided with the Gann Science book. And you can see that I'm on a tab called Time. DO, ray are the input dates. So I've got 10:30 as the DO note, and the ray note is 11:19. Now this will generate the whole active in time, which ends on 4/7/24, and this also gives me the internal actives. It's giving me two sets of internal actives, so I can really fine tune and get multiple dates inside of this larger active. But for this video, I'm going to concentrate just on these larger tones from 10:30 up to 4/7. So what I've done is highlight these on the price chart on the Gann Grids Ultra program with the arrows. So I've marked the dates with the highlight tool. This is the highlight tool here in the upper left. I just copied and pasted the dates in off of my Excel sheet to get these active time points, and now you can see them all here marked with the magenta line. So the first two dates were my input, then I get the rest of the active. We had a minor high here. We're one day off this little high here. We had a minor high there. Had that arrow in the wrong place. Here we had the breakout. We went from consolidation to breakout. Here we had right on the high. This one here was a low. This one here was a minor high. So those are the active time points. So what I've done there is I've built the time octave from a different set of points than what I'm doing with the price active, or what I'm going to do with it. But you could also build a time octave just taking the 39.23 number and expanding that out. So you can take a price to time octave, where here I've taken a time measurement and used that to create these time points by calling this its own active, where the DO to ray is simply the 1/8 of the overall move. So to get the whole move, you know the interval from DO to ray is a 1.125. So if you multiply 1/8 by 8, so that whole 20 bar move times 8, you'd get 160 bars days for the total active. Okay, now I'm going to add these two actives in for the price levels. I'm going to take the 39.23, and I'm going to use the price highlight tool, which is the dollar sign here. I'm going to copy and paste those in off my Excel sheet and highlight that active. So now here's that active, 39.23 being the DO note, and then the ascending active up to a 78.46. So I've plotted those. You can see the first active plotted on the screen here. So now what I've done, I've changed the Fa and the La tone to green just to differentiate in the active, and the So tone in yellow is in between the two greens. And now I'm going to move to take the 7846 and build the next active up from there, because that's going to get us into the area of the current high. So now I've got the second active highlighted from 7846 up to 156.92. Same thing, the Fa and La tones highlighted in green. So now what I'm going to do is add another active from the 7561 low, and we're going to see the overlap as we get into the area where we've moved up to the current high and how we've corrected off of there. So let me build this active. Here are the active tones for the 7561 active up to the 151.22. I've dropped those into the price tool and I've changed the color to this red. So here's the 75 and up. Here's the Do, Re, Mi. The Fa I've made into a blue. The So is red. The La is blue. And then the Ti and the Do are in red. So now you can see we've got an overlap of two important actives. The reason I'm doing that is because the market isn't going to operate just under one condition. There are always going to be multiple actives in play, just like there are always multiple cycles in play. But we've got to try to identify what the two dominant actives are. And in this case, these two significant lows are doing that, because you can see as we get into the area, once this low has come in and we get into this area here in May of 24 this year, we can start to see that all of these levels are controlling the price action, and all the pivots are coming at these price points. So you can see that every pivot, as I'm going through here with my mouse cursor arrow, every one of these pivots is taking place at one of these active prices. Every single one, except for this little minor pivot here and this area right here. So this area right here is telling me there's some other important tone or another important harmonic level from another active, which is set from some other higher low. But for the most part, we've hit just about every pivot in the sequence from the time this low was formed in May. Between our two actives, we're getting just about everything. Now I'm going to show another time example. Now I'm taking this high, the high bar here on June 19th. The high is 140.76. You can see it on the upper left side of the chart, just under the menu bar. You can see the date, the ticker symbol, then open, high, low, close, and the volume. So what I'm going to do is take this high of 140, I'm going to call it 141, and I'm going to create a time octave and come up with a time sequence out of there. So by taking the F minor tone ratios, I've got these measurements. So I come here to the weekend, it's a low. We had a day down and then it's back up. The next one is this low here. Then I've got this low here to a time trigger. This is a weekend again at this high area. And then we've got the future points on September 10th. We've got a potential pivot. And the end of that active on October 9th. So that's just, you know, I've showed that idea a couple times just to reinforce that. You can come up with an octave like that. You can also come up with octaves in different ways. You could also project, I'm not going to do all these, but you could also project a time octave from the 7561 low. You could take that and double that, 76 to 152, make that an octave and count that out in time divided by the ratio set. You could always do another doe ray, whatever you chose. You could make this the doe, and you could take this little high as the ray, and you could build that one out. You can also go to, depending on how granular you want to get, you could also go and start to do these internal octaves. And then you'll be able to get all kinds of time projections. You'll be able to get all kinds of time projections just by using octaves. So the whole key to this is to identify the proper keynote, find the correct tone intervals, and then you'll be able to plot the price and time that's going to be effective on whatever stock or commodity you're working with. So in the ideal situation, what you want to do is find time and price together. So you want to get at a pivot area here where you have a significant time count comes in at a price level where you can put a trade on. So let's say the market makes a push down. We've got overbalance to the up move. We make a reaction. We come back to this level. We want to find out if we have a time count that confirms when price hits this level. If it does, you can take the trade right at price and time, and then you can watch it. These other tone levels are your target points on the way down, so you watch how it reacts. Once it breaks through, you can bring your stop up just above that level, and then as the market moves down, you can continue to move your stop down with it, and then set target points based on these levels, based on your expectation of the developing market pattern. So I've shown quite a bit in the Nvidia series. I'm going to close that out here. I've given you some good food for thought. So for instance, just one more thing you could do now would be to take a look at this low here. So this low here is 90.69. Now you could work that forward in price and time, and you're going to get another set of levels, and you can create the time octave off of there too. So depending on how many trades you want to look for or how few, you can set these octaves up accordingly, and you can get as many price and time points as you want on any time frame chart.